Back behind the velvet rope. It's almost the end of the year, guys. Let's do this together. Um, we're here with the one and only Sarah Farasia.
Okay, I can do this. I've only got a few more episodes in me. Then we're going to take a little break. We've been taking breaks over the holiday.
After
I can
this, we
do
have
this.
two more episodes, plus
I can do
we have
this.
a best of and a worst of. So we have really four more episodes the kids are going to hear. Guys, we're not missing a beat. There's not going to be anything missed. We're going to do it all. We love you guys.
We're so fun, by the way. The best of and worst of this year. Weren't those episodes so good?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny? I was out last night having drinks with a friend at the townhouse. Favorite gay piano bar of Sonia Morgan and Josh Flagg every time they're in town. And I was saying, oh, but he actually listens to the podcast, this friend of mine. And I mean, my friends don't support anything that I do. So shout out to Michael. And he said, he's like, I can't think of who had a good year. And then we were talking about worst stuff. And he said, you know who I would put for worst stuff? And his guess that he would
Hmm.
put was exactly my number one worst stuff. Let's not say it here.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, we won't say it.
He's
No,
like,
I
this is
love.
who this is who I'm gonna rank for the worst of. And I said, oh. And it was exactly who I had as worst of. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No, I love it. And our best of and worst ofs. I think the worst of you and I did have the same person, but our lists are
No,
always so
best of.
interesting.
We had
Oh,
best
the
of
best of. Okay.
same. We had
Our lists are always so interesting. We always both have. I love figuring out who you have, who I have. It was really good. Uh, by the way, talk to me about, gosh, this Mary Cosby, Robert Jr. addiction. I mean, that scene this fall, that scene has been so discussed. I mean, so talked about, still talked about. We have an update on Robert Jr. and his addiction recovery. What did you make of that scene, though? Because I mostly Mary got incredible praise, and in fact, a lot of people said, "Why isn't like finally we're real? Finally, we're getting to real stuff in that moment, in that scene. Why aren't we having more of this?" And then other people online were very nasty and have said that Robert Sr. and Mary Cosby have funded his life, enabled him, and known about his addiction for a very long time. And then when it became such a problem, because I believe he's got some legal issues, including a DUI, they're now addressing it. Some people were quite critical.
um
What's your take?
I am gonna do a whole show about this in January. So what's your take?
Oh, okay.
It's
My
all about
take.
you. It's all about you.
Oh gosh, I hope not. My take is it. I found it to be very sincere. I found it to be very sincere. I found it to be like just a mother's love for her child. I thought it was brave of him. He looked certainly out of it in that scene and has looked out of it in other scenes. You know, he admitted to basically mixing Xanax with all these different things, Molly, cocaine, everything, you name it. And basically, I think it was so honest. You know, he said, life feels like chicken without any spice. I don't want to live. And the only reason I haven't taken my life is because of you. And I know, like, just as a mother, I cried the entire time. I thought it was so good. I take people for face value. You and I have talked about, I think there's going to be some financial things coming out about Mary and Robert Sr. later in 2025, mostly just being, I think the church is over. Were they misappropriating funds to buy her Chanel? Not, I don't know that. I shouldn't even say that. So I don't know. But I thought it was so good. I thought it was the realest. I mean, Mary's pretty real, and Mary's one of my favorites. I loved it. I thought it was honest. The update with him, he completed a rehab stint. The wife at last check remains in rehab. So almost kind of even sounds like the wife has a worse addiction than he does. And Mary says he came out a changed man from um, rehab. And
Hmm.
I hope it continues. You know, she seems positive they'll beat it. I hope the heck they do. And so many people listening. My brother's 13 years sober. 13 or 14. It's such a freaking gift, but you've got to want it. And to
You
me,
know,
it's easy to be sober. Like to me, yeah, do I enjoy a glass of wine or two? Absolutely. But if someone was like, you can never take an edible again or drink, I'd be like, totally fine. But I don't have that. I don't have
correct. That's the difference.
that that gene, like people have that thing like he talked about. Like that's how he got through life.
I would be thrilled to never drink again. It's so like last night I was out with
Oh,
someone and I had two drinks and like, should we have a third? I'm like, nah, I don't want it. I want to go home.
I know. I don't know what that must be like to not want to participate in life. And Mary said the same thing. She doesn't know what that's like either, but certainly implied Robert Sr. knew more
She
about it.
called upon him. That's what she said on Watch What Happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they
Okay.
helped a lot of people. I think they helped a lot of people because the thing with families a lot of times is people won't a lot of times they'll tiptoe around it. And maybe Mary and her husband did for a long time. They won't address it, they'll tiptoe around it. They'll do things to enable that they don't even realize that they're doing, that they're doing. So probably having him live there with his wife, just enabling them to keep using and not work. But I think that's going to change.
Mm. By the
It
way,
helped a lot of people. I loved it.
she's second seat. The reunion chart apparently came out. Apparently, Angie K is first seat.
Excuse me.
Angie and Lisa are across from each other. I sent it. I think I sent this to you.
You did. You did.
I mean,
What do you think too, by the way, of
Brittany.
oh
Wait,
yeah, tell me what you think of her. I was actually going to ask you about Heather Gay. A lot of people think that Ozempic has made her a bitch, and that Ozempic sucked out the fun and sucked out the any joy that she has brought. A lot of people feel like she's did Ozempic kind of made you nasty, right?
Say it again.
Did
Um,
Ozempic make you moody? A lot of people feel that Heather Gay, all the fun has been taken out of her, all the joy. She seems miserable, and she's a miserable human being on this season. And they're blaming it on Ozempic. They're like, wow,
well,
if Ozempic's going to turn me into a bitch, I'm not taking it. But I feel like you kind of went through that. You went through the Ozempic blues where
you
you were
think?
just, it's kind of hard to tell with you. I don't know. Sometimes, like you're like all of us, right? I get in moods too. I don't know. It's hard to tell, read your mood. Are you still on Ozempic,
Honey,
or is this just
I've
you?
gained like 97 pounds. Okay?
I always say stand up. Let me see it. I want to see.
There.
I want to see the body standing up. Everybody. Oh my God, you're so skinny.